But I know that our JCC colleagues, both pro and lay, are also struggling at this moment, thinking about how they lead their JCC through this. We're thinking about how to support our executive colleagues, and we're also thinking about chairs of boards, membership departments that are maybe dealing with some things on the front lines, to cultural arts programs. This has not been an easy time to be a JCC professional. But we're very grateful to have a team led by Leah Garber and others that are doing really good work to not just have, we don't have answers, but to help people think about the right questions that we should be thinking about. So to Leah, our long trusted colleague, leader, and confidant, Leah, why don't we turn it over to you? I know Kara couldn't be with us today as the chair of the Israel Committee, but Leah, being the thought partner to Kara, will take over now and give us an update about what she and her team are thinking about to support the field at this moment.
Great. Thank you, Barak. Thank you. Good evening to all. Obviously, good evening from Israel. Before I share my report, I do want to start and acknowledge that today has been a really heartbreaking and deeply painful day in Israel. Just moments ago, we learned that 4 Israeli soldiers were killed in Gaza. And earlier today, 6 Israelis, 5 men and 1 woman, lost their lives, and many others were injured in a terrible terror attack as 2 terrorists opened fire on people, innocent people, waiting at a crowded bus stop in one of Jerusalem's busiest intersections. I was actually there, right there when it happened, just very few hundred feet away. I was on my way to a meeting at the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs to talk about Mitchabrim that Barak, you mentioned earlier. Needless to say that I never made it to the meeting. And I have to share with you that the sights and the sounds and the chaos, the panic, people abandoning their cars, myself included, not knowing if the threat has passed, will probably stay with me for a long time. And realizing that 1 traffic light may have saved my life, and just down the road, 6 other people lost theirs, is not something that is easy just to move on with. So with your permission, I want to take a moment to send our collective condolences to the families, the 10 families that their loved ones were killed today. And our wishes, our heartfelt wishes, and full recovery greetings to those that were injured. Another difficult day in Israel, and it's a difficult reality, as Barak mentioned. So from today's difficult reality to the bigger picture context, Barak has asked me to share our newest framework. And this framework is designed to support JCCs as they navigate this ongoing impact of the war, its ripple effects, the criticism, the anti-Semitism, or as Francine just moments ago, you alluded it when you said that, in your question to Gali, when you said that to the American press, Israel of October 7th is not the Israel of today. And that has impact on people, on perspectives, and that poses a challenge to JCCs, to JCC leaders. So as we mark today, 703 days into this war, these were 703 days where JCCs across North America have demonstrated really remarkable leadership through outstanding commitment and solidarity and support for Israel. And it hasn't always been easy, probably never been easy. And the range of programs and initiatives that were developed by JCC have been truly exceptional. And I could just give you an example, something very relevant. Next month, we will be marking the 2nd year since October 7th. 100 JCCs will host a total of 138 events. So the math, yes, some GCCs are doing more than 1, even more than 2 events, commemorating the event. And the level of engagement is really something extraordinary. And I think that this board can really take pride knowing that all 138 programs are supported by consultation and program ideas and grants, a lot of money offered through and by JCC Association. But with that said, and as Barak mentioned, we're also seeing new and intensifying challenges that are emerging in response to the growing global criticism of Israel government, mostly of the government, and the continuum of the war. And the criticism is within Jewish communities across the Jewish world and also here in Israel. So we're hearing from JCCs, their frustrations, their concerns, their confusion as they face these unprecedented shifts in attitudes towards Israel. And this shift really presents real and complex challenges to their ability to sustain what I mentioned earlier, to sustain the same level of support, of solidarity, and programmatic engagement that they have been. Many are struggling and many need our support, and they're asking for our support. And as you know, these challenges didn't just appear overnight. They're a result of evolving dynamics such as institutional positioning questions. Where do we stand? Do we have to have a stand? Does our JCC have to have a stand? Do we issue statements when the time requires one? Should we? Is it the Federation? The second challenge is, and I think you know this better than I do, every community is made of individuals with diverse backgrounds and opinions and perspectives, and not all members, I wish it was, but not all members necessarily align with the vision or values of the JCC's leadership and what they would like to see. And on top of that, nearly 2 years of intense programming and emotional engagement have taken a toll on us here in Israel, but on you and really on those JCCs that are the front line of programming and different activities. It's hard, and some people are just simply exhausted and they're eager to move on. And finally, the ongoing waves of external and in some cases internal criticism, hypocrisy, and the alarming rise in anti-Semitism only adds to the burden, making it all so much more difficult to navigate. So to that end, a few weeks ago, I shared with Barak a paper that I put together. And basically that paper outlined a rationale and, more importantly, an operational plan by which JCC Association can, and in my mind, should support JCCs in addressing these growing challenges. And all of this without compromising JCC's support for Israel. Barak obviously responded immediately, and a few days later, we convened a small group of JCC executives representing the movement's diversity in opinion, diversity in background, tenure, and as well diversity in geography, spread, and community size. And we convened this group to review the suggested plan. We had really interesting conversations, and following those deliberations and the feedback, we came up with a revised version according to which we recommend 2 levels of action. So the plan includes recommendations for both, for each JCC locally, but also for us, for JCC Association. And we believe that this plan offers a strategic balance between local adaptation and movement-wide support that we hope will ensure effective community response. At the local level, we propose theoretical thinking along with practical implementation methods that each JCC can operate accordingly to their unique local characteristics and needs, while maintaining fundamental principles that we identify as key principles. And those key principles, as you can see on this slide. So the first principle is pretty simple, pretty basic, but for some can really be hard to implement. And I know that it's easier said than done, but now more than ever, challenging times and pivotal moments call for courageous Jewish leadership. A leadership that is bold enough to stand against criticism within and lead, even when it's hard and when trends outside are different, and even when it's unpopular. The second principle basically emphasizes the importance of mapping the broader community's offering. What's out there? There are many different resources. JCCs may want to look into those other offerings and leveraging those existing opportunities while also identifying potential new partners. And in addition, we encourage JCCs to focus their Israel programming on community building through through meaningful encounters, personal, emotional ones, versus through advocacy, which is not at all what we're talking about. The third is obvious, and again, you coming from those JCCs know this so much better, but by virtue, JCCs serve diverse communities, Jews and non-Jews alike, members, staff, board members, all coming from different perspectives and attitudes. And while JCCs offer safe and brave space for idea sharing, for celebrating Israel, for standing in solidarity with Israel, while recognizing other perspectives, they will be the community's living room that they're meant to be. Or as Gali just a few minutes ago said, the community's front door. So in addition to what JCCs can do locally, we also identified 3 platforms where we at JCC Association can lead and offer ongoing adaptive programming and resource support that is always relevant. So the 3 platforms are, and you can see this on the slide. The first one is peer consultation platform. This is basically a collaborative learning network where we will be leveraging JCC Association already existing peer groups platforms where professionals from different JCCs meet periodically to discuss issues related to their areas of expertise, not necessarily Israel related, but with coordinating with those peer groups leaders, we will include sessions that are related to specific Israel-related challenges that they encounter. For example, I'm looking at the time, in exactly 10 minutes from now, the Jewish Educators Group will be meeting with 2 of my team members, and they will discuss, their agenda is basically what would be considered a win in terms of Israel programming. Next week, the FRD group, peer group will meet and they will discuss the different challenges that they may be facing with regards to fundraising and development due to anti-Israel sentiment. So each group very focused on what they're involved with and what they are passionate about, but with the focus of Israel and the challenges. The second pillar that we offer is the Israel Academy Speakers Series. Very briefly, this is something the JCC Association relatively launched not long ago, about a year and so ago. And it's a learning and enrichment platform, a virtual one, where we offer different types of classes and courses. Most recently, we offered a 3-part incredibly successful series with Zach Bodner and his Z3 team to introduce the Z3 concept, to talk about what is Zionism, and then how could we bring it to our communities. So responding again to the increasing challenges that we're talking about now, we will focus in the future the different sessions and courses on subject matters that we hear from JCCs that this is most pressing, this is most burning. For example, self-care, helping JCC professionals that are at the forefront of Israel programming deal with related stress. Or, as we keep hearing more and more, helping JCC professionals deal with either team members that they can't have a conversation with, or family members, their own children, that they simply can't have a conversation with because they're each in their bubble, not allowing the other to enter. How could you even manage a family relationship with that? So we may bring in a mental health specialist and others to just give us some tips and help those struggling with that. So these are just two examples. We listed a few more. And finally, the third pillar is about an educational resource library, where we will be curating and developing some original materials, but also collecting and sharing a library of the best of what other Jewish organizations have to offer. And you know that this world offers an ocean of rich and beautiful resources such as podcasts and surveys and digital materials and templates for messaging, facilitator guides, best practices, program ideas, and so much more. We will be monitoring everything that is happening around the Jewish world, and in addition, response to needs, and be curating some own materials and just offer them as they come on an ongoing basis with the field. So back to that task force that Barak and I put together, those execs on the task force were invited to select one of these three pillars that I just shared with you. And together with us, with my team and myself, these small sub-teams will be responsible for developing and implementing these various stages of the plan. And as you saw, we're moving very fast forward, starting this evening and onto next week through the end of September. We already have a series of programs planned. In addition, and Barak again mentioned that earlier, David Wax, Kara Behrman, Barak and I held a meeting last week with our own JCC Association Board's Israel Engagement Committee that is chaired by Kara. And having arrived in Israel this morning as part of her aliyah, she's not able to be here today, but mazel tov to Kara. At our meeting, Kara and I shared with committee members, this plan, and we were asking for the committee's feedback and some suggestions, and we had a robust conversation. But more so, we discussed ways that this plan can be adapted to support JCC board chairs and JCC boards in general. And supporting JCC boards is a priority. It's a priority for us. I know that upcoming Z3 conference in November, it's a priority at the conference with a special lab for JCC board chairs. We will continue looking at ways to ensure a comprehensive implementation of this strategic approach in support of JCC boards. So we have our minds towards JCC professionals, who the professionals, how they could best support to their members, but we're also looking at JCC boards. So with that and everything that I presented, unfortunately, the painful and difficult reality of the past 703 days, and especially on days like today, where 10 people lost their lives, this reality requires us to respond and adjust quickly our programs and our activities and the way that we serve JCCs. And I'm so grateful that a group of committed JCC execs said Hineni, or as Barak likes to say, for the field, from the field. And basically together, I'm hopeful that this new plan that will be revised again and again and adjusted again and again as needed will help JCCs, your JCCs, to lead Jewishly, courageously, in times of crisis, but hopefully and really mostly in times of great celebrations and moments of Jewish pride. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Leah, for your leadership. It continued to be a very heartbreaking time. And just, as we're in this period of the holidays, just may our collective prayers, just God willing, bring some normalcy to the area and to Israel. And so just thank you for being our leader on the ground there, and with really a wonderful team of professionals.